Hey everyone, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Penny. Joining me this week, a new guest, something I love to have. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you will probably have heard his name crop up once, twice, 3 or 4 times maybe. I don't know, I've lost count now. And you probably follow him as well. Welcome, Paris Flacko. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, brother. How
Good
you
to
doing,
hear.
bro?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. I was just saying to you, I've got a Hennessy and Coke, bottle of water next to me. I'm done
That's
with
just lit.
done with work for the day, so I'm all good now. I'm all good.
Most definitely, for sure.
And you're in Texas, aren't you?
I'm in Austin, Texas, but this is not exactly where I'm from. I'm from Texas, but I like to represent my small town. I'm originally from Lamarck, Texas. I
Okay.
moved out here for college, so I kind of been stuck out here ever since. Yeah.
I think you're probably our first Texan we've had on here, I think.
Man, I might be one of the first Texans to really, I feel like, start breaking through this culture in this sense, and through our community, so.
Is there much going on in Texas? Texas is one of those places where I see a lot about it. It's obviously very big, but I don't really know an awful lot about it.
So let me break this down like this. So there is a lot going in Texas. What I always tell people, I say Texas, if you're looking for, family lifestyle, you like to go out, have dinner, have, shopping centers and things like that, agriculture, just I feel like, someone's kind of middle class, even higher end class, but just looking for a certain lifestyle. Texas, can accommodate that. But when you're talking about more so being a more artist, and into a wider broad sense of culture like hip hop culture, like being a hip hop purist, man, there's a void, a lot missing within the communities out here. And that's why I'm kind of even in this predicament talking to you, because it's like kids like me are having to use the internet and having to pretty much, that's our way to connect into what we really want to do. We even got the people like the Travis Scotts and things that wasn't here. He's kind of was a groundbreaker for the things he's done, and he had to leave Texas to meet to meet Ti, Kanye West, and people of that nature. So it's crazy,
It
man.
sounds like a much warmer version of where I am.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's nice, man. It really is nice. Like I do enjoy living here. The tech, the tech industry is pretty much really big here, especially in Austin. I believe Tesla just moved their headquarters here like not too long ago or something of that nature. So, things of that nature. Yeah, it makes it really nice. It's cool. I mean, we have fantastic food, honestly. Like I think New York, yeah, y'all got pizza. I mean, New York has pizza and things of that nature, but they can't really rock with us when it comes to like other food. Texas is slamming, man.
Really? See, that
Yeah,
intrigues me
most
because
definitely.
I've been to the US a few times. Texas I haven't been to, obviously, but I keep
Mhm.
thinking when I come back, there's obviously a list of places I need to go to, people I need to visit and stuff. But I'm always
For
thinking,
sure.
where's like the place that's slightly different that people wouldn't normally go to that would be like really cool to visit and have stuff to.
Texas would be one of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Texas would actually be one of it. And in retrospect, if I'm being fair, but honestly, me being me, I've always wanted to go to New York. Like I've been living in Texas and been like pretty much bodying New York energy being in Texas. Like it's weird, bro. It's ridiculous, man. But I love it though. I love it, bro.
Nice. All right, let's get on to our track for today.
Yes,
Now, we're
sir.
circling back round. I think on the last kind of couple of podcasts, we've got up to 2010, maybe later. We've done stuff from like the Girl album and whatnot, so even after that.
Yeah, yeah. I already know. Yep.
But now we're going right back, and this is one that I left off the list originally because the original list was just focused on stuff where like Pharrell was obviously very prominent, where he may have actually had like a full
Okay.
verse on it, or it was a full N.E.R.D track itself, or a full Pharrell track.
See
But
that?
it hurt leaving this off the list because this is one of my favourite Neptunes tracks, and I really
Wow,
wanted
that's wild. I
an
did not
excuse
expect
to
for you
go
to say
back and
that.
like listen to it again. So we are going all the way back to 2001, and we are going back to "There She Goes" by Babyface.
Woo.
Now, you picked this one after I gave you a list. You were like, I can't do this list, but I've got one in mind. So why did you pick this one?
Um, it's underrated, man. It's definitely one of those hidden gems. It's definitely one of those like if someone bring this up to me in a Neptunes conversation, it's like, okay, I know you're hip really to the Neptunes and you've done your studies, you know? And I think it sucks that sometimes, you know, Pharrell in certain interviews he may not elaborate on these songs, just of course of, you know, where they charted and things like that you already noticed. Even seeing how you bring up songs on your platform, you know, of course, like you just hitting on the main Pharrell songs, the main songs that people can really go back to. But this be these songs, man, that's like, man, like you got to listen to this. If you appreciate this, you probably would most likely appreciate that. So, and I actually found this song later on, like through my
Oh, really?
journey
So
of
you didn't
listening.
hear it at the time or anything?
So I don't know if you know, bro, I'm 25.
Oh, I feel
Yeah.
sick.
So I'm born in '97, and like I don't want to go hard on this topic. We can come back to this, but I definitely want to break down like my relationship to Neptunes. I think it's very interesting and different from anyone who probably came on here and spoke because even people like Shots Out Sis Letters, they're a little bit older to where I listen to him. He's like, man, I remember I was, you know, 11 or 10, but I was there. You know, I wasn't there, bro. I was probably
Yeah.
7 or 6 or something, you know. So I'm a weird case of in the newer era that we live in because of the music and everything. I'm one of these people that diverted from, you know, what's popular and went to the Neptunes era and found that in the search of looking for something new and different. And music that really connects to me that's not out on the radio, you know?
It's good 'cause to me that kind of pays testament to the song itself, but also the Neptune's work of that time, where
Hmm.
it is
Hmm.
timeless because even people like
It
yourself
really is.
who weren't necessarily around at that time or a lot younger still gravitate back to it all these kind of years later.
Most definitely. That's true. And it's part of it, of course, me being a musician as well. Me being I pride myself on being a student of the game, not just for real. I can really go down a list of people, just to note off some people like I'll Be Sure. I understand you know, a relation between the Isley brothers and Pharrell, how much that has been an influence in his music. So, you know, going down the rabbit hole and, you know, going down the loophole of music, you find these different things and you know, you can be able to connect to it. So, that's part of it as well. And that's due to the technology we have that, you know, back in 2001, unless someone's telling me I have a friend, I wouldn't have known. You know, I'm pretty sure in
Yeah.
Texas, if I was in 2001 in Texas, yeah, like Neptunes and that music, just East Coast music in general, that tempo and the BPM doesn't mesh well down here. So there's no way that I would have found out about that song, you know?
Yeah. Let's do some quick track facts. So it was the lead
Yeah.
single from Babyface's album Face to Face. The single came out
Wow.
19th of June 2001, as we said, and now I feel
Mm.
really old, seeing as I'm turning 40 this year.
Man, that's what's up, bro. There's
Oh,
nothing wrong
God.
with that. That's a blessing, actually, man. There's some people that honestly I was blessed to make it to 25 because unfortunately there's literally people in my community that hasn't did that. So
It's
it's
one
a
way to look,
blessing
yeah, one
to
way to
have
look at it,
life.
definitely.
And I definitely love, you know, wisdom. So you know, I think that's something to definitely be proud of for sure.
Yeah, good way to look at it, good spin on it.
Most deaf.
This was, interestingly, the first single that Babyface had released that he hadn't actually produced himself. And obviously, Babyface been making music since what, the mid 70s, late 70s, I think. So this was the first
Oh, see
single
now
to
that's
come
something
out,
I didn't know.
yeah,
I
that
didn't know that.
he hadn't produced himself. So again, paying testament to what the Neptunes were doing at that time, and the influence they are having, and people really taking that kind of leap of faith with them and putting
Mm.
their music in their hands.
I do know that you know, Babyface did, you know, like he's kind of connected in that era with Teddy Riley as
Yep,
well. So I kind of always thought too. I mean, for me looking back, I've seen that connection as well. Especially kind of with the verses thing and how they had their verse off. You know, they obviously had chemistry, so it kind of felt like something that made sense. You know, for them.
definitely, and I'm sure that's probably how this kind of came around as well, at
Hmm.
least partly with Teddy being involved at some point. The song itself didn't perform brilliantly, like you mentioned earlier. It is a very underrated track, and I feel that as well. It peaked at 31 in the US Billboard charts, and again, funnily enough, that was but despite Babyface's massive success before that and after it, that was his last ever top 40 entry back in
Okay.
2001. As a kind of
Oh,
as obviously an artist in his own right. It got
yeah.
to number 10 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart. And if you've seen the video, you will probably instantly be able to tell it's a Hype Williams video. It's
Most
very,
deaf.
very of that Hype Williams era
It is, yeah.
with the way it's kind of designed and shot and the lighting and the styling of it and everything.
Classic Hype Williams. It wasn't. It's not like a groundbreaking. Like, oh, this is probably top UDC, but it's it does really pan to his formula and how he creates, and it gives you all of that. Like it's all there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's not one of his like real over the top videos like some of the Missy ones and stuff like that. I think this is of that era when he started to tone it down a little bit. I think he still had videos just before this. I want to say with like Diddy and Mace, which were kind of a bit over the top in
Oh yeah,
the whole shiny suit type thing.
yeah,
But
that era.
this one was kind of really toned down. And I also noticed that rewatching the video, just in terms of the wardrobe as well, it's very kind of underrated. Obviously, the women in the videos aren't wearing much anyway, as you'd kind of expect. But
Yeah,
for the most part of it, Pharrell and Babyface are just wearing jeans and a vest, basically.
yeah.
And then there's some other shots where Babyface is wearing like a denim,
I'm trying to.
quite awful, I would say, denim sort of shirt with the sleeves cut off. And then Pharrell's got that classic, I would say, like N.E.R.D look of around that time with the white zip up jacket, the trucker hat, and then the
Yeah.
really what are now I feel really awful red wraparound sunglasses. They are not a good look.
Oh man, yeah. Those was like I think, and I remember doing research on Pharrell and saying like around the time when him and Khalees was heavily working, that was the time where he was really getting introduced to the higher end fashion.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where he went from the polos with Super Thug, and then he's kind of still having to skate a little bit. He's meshing it up, so he may have some Dior shades, he may have some, something of that nature, but he hasn't full on at this point yet. I don't think he met Nigo at this point, and hasn't went full on Babe, none of that
Yeah.
yet. So it was kind of like the him pretty much still trying to figure out. Also, too, I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I might be wrong, but does he have the stash on this one?
This is Mustache P
Yeah.
era. Yeah. This is when he's in
Yeah,
his
that's so
real like
crazy to me, man. It's ridiculous to me. Yeah, it's
yeah, this is
wild.
his real kind of early rock star type moment, I feel, just when they were really starting to blow up. And like you say, hanging out with Khalees and people like that. Those glasses, I would probably say I can imagine Khalees wearing those, and in my head I've got an image of her wearing exactly the same glasses, and it
Hmm.
wouldn't surprise me if they are the same things.
Probably so, bro.
But yeah,
Most likely.
it is that time where you would see Pharrell in all sorts of gear because he is just in rock star mode basically, early rock
Yeah, he
star
was,
mode.
and like I said, I'm kind of part. I'm a little bit familiar with skate culture as well, and like, yeah, the shirts and the Zoo York t-shirts. Like you kind of seen that, but he'll wear like a Puma track suit or shirt, or something of that nature. So it's like not really to where it evolved to, not really so more cohesive in style, but still I feel like it's cool for me to see that he's wearing these brands and things earlier on, like just his attention to the streetwear culture that it had at that point. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to go back quickly because there's probably a lot of people that listen to the podcast that are a lot younger than me. I think most people that listen to the podcast are a lot younger than me. And I will preface this by saying, and David as well, because in the last episode we were talking about how old we
Shouts out
both are.
King, man.
Shout out to King of
Yeah,
Creams as always.
shouts out to King.
But I just want to give some people some babyface facts because I think
Got to.
there's, as I say, he hasn't released an album since about 2015 now. This 2001 was his last kind of top 40 hit as an artist himself. So I don't think a lot of people really realise how influential and successful Babyface is.
Tell
And
him.
these are just very high level ones. He's had 26 number one hits that he's either written or produced. He's won 12 Grammys and ranked number 20 on NME's 50 greatest producers ever across all
Whoa.
genres, across all music.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has worked with, if you go and look at his people out there, if you go and look at his discography and kind of hit all of the kind of credits of tracks he's been involved in, you'll see just some absolute bangers out there, and especially in the
Oh
kind
yeah.
of in the 90s and the sort of 80s and 90s,
Yeah,
all the
the
kind of
'90s more so I'm familiar with more
yeah,
so.
all
Yeah.
the kind of Whitney Houston stuff, all the
Hmm.
the Boys to Men stuff, which stayed at like
Yeah.
number one in the charts for like over a year or whatever
The new
those
Jet
tracks
Swing
did.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been like heavily involved in so many artists' careers. So I would highly recommend going back and looking at some of his other stuff if you're not really that familiar with Babyface.
For sure, no, I need to do some more research, honestly. Like I said, I'm familiar with, some stuff that I feel like someone my age, they'd be like, man, how you know this? But far as like going through each discography and the albums, like just even how you stayed that fat, I did not know that. I wouldn't have thought that. Because he is such a phenomenal producer. I would have thought he, topped the charts later on in the years, but that's interesting to know. Um, yeah, for sure. People need to go check that out, man. We gotta, I think it's important to, I know this is a Pharrell based podcast, but I think it's important to acknowledge the other people who have inspired Pharrell or just as great as Pharrell. I think that's
Oh yeah,
really
most
important.
definitely.
Yeah. It really paints the picture of what they do, I think, really well. And you just kind of see on how significant he plays a part in the whole grand scheme of music, not just this culture that we deem and everything he's done, but just when you see his work compared to these others and how it matches up or sometimes top him, it's like, man, this is this is crazy. Like, it's really great. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, people go back and check Babyface out. Check out all of the stuff he's been involved in for sure. On this track as well, I also noticed I was looking through the credits. Somebody we mentioned a couple of podcasts back, backing vocals from Latrell Simmons again,
Ooh.
which is always like really interesting to me because obviously she went by the name Latrell back then. And obviously had did a lot of work with the Neptunes and stuff like that. But she is still a backing
Man,
singer
shouts
for
out
Pharrell
Latrell.
nowadays. She's
Yeah.
known, I think, nowadays as Munchie.
Munchie, Miss Munchie. Yeah.
Yeah, she works as his, one of his tour backing singers, but also does a lot of backing tracks for work that the Neptunes do, that Pharrell does. You'll see her name everywhere on any kind of, Pharrell or Neptunes project. So again, I was reading some interviews with her from back then, from the early sort of 2000s, and really
Mm.
interesting to hear how she kind of was working with Babyface and so many other artists, and how that linked into Pharrell and the Neptunes and stuff like that. So again, if you're not really aware of Latrell, or Munchie as she goes by now, then yeah, you should look up her credits as well. And if I remember,
Please look up
I'll put a
Latrell.
link in the
Please
show
do.
notes.
Yeah, please do. Man, that's crazy that you brought Latrell. Now, if I knew that was an option, I would have put that over Babyface respectfully. Man, I love Latrell tracks. My favorite track is Infatuated. Man, that track is crazy, bro. Like, it's so simple, but it's so like hypnotic and like just euphoric and ethereal with the chords and everything and how it works together. It's like, man, her voice is ridiculous. And shouts out to her as well on I wanna say is it Best Friend on In My Mind, right? She sings Star Trek.
Could well be. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like she's on there too, but she's not credited on a feature or anything like that. But yeah, she's on there singing on the In My Mind album, Star Trek at the end of the song. So no, she's fire, bro.
Yeah, and I was reading the interview. She was talking about her unreleased album, that kind of never came out, that got scrapped, and
Hmm.
all the songs went to,
It's on YouTube if you go look it
yeah,
up.
Khalees and
Hmm.
Justin Timberlake got tracks from, that were meant to be for her. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I've got that in the archive somewhere, sitting on a hard drive somewhere. So I had a quick search, and there it was. So I listened to a few tracks
Wow,
last night quickly. What did I listen to? Is it Good Girl? I think it's called
that's
Good
on
Girl.
there. It's on there.
Yeah, House
Yeah.
Party.
Yeah, ooh, house party. That video lit too. That video is crazy. Super 2000s, but it's like that futuristic 2000s of kind of their interpretation of what maybe 2015 would be, which is like, I don't know. It's really appealing to me even now. Like being a fan of like that era, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would love to have like seen what would have happened to that project had it come out, or had it got a release and certain tracks hadn't gone to certain people and stuff like
She
that.
definitely could have reached that Khalees status for sure, for sure. Yeah, for
Definitely
sure,
had
for
that
sure.
potential, and some of those tracks were really really good. But it's interesting to see how her career has like evolved over the years, and how
Yeah, she's
here we
doing
are.
great right now,
Yeah,
which is
20
I
years
love
later,
to see
she's still
that.
working with with Pharrell.
Yeah, I think Madonna as well. She does backup singing for Madonna as well. Actually, man, like I actually like I didn't like get to meet her face to face, but I think I might have DM'd her and like she I just kind of just told her my appreciation for her music and like she kind of I think she liked it and replied something back, which was cool. So it's just cool to see that that she's doing well and appreciate the people who appreciate her old work as well. That's kind of dope.
Definitely. If anyone's got a direct link to Latrell, then do feel free to get in touch with her and tell her to jump on the podcast. We'd
Oh
love to have
man,
her on here one day.
I would love to hear that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, we've digressed slightly. There she goes, Babyface, the video we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
It's in terms, as we mentioned earlier, in terms of the video itself. While it is a kind of a Hype Williams video, as you said, it is kind of quite a tame Hype Williams video. It's we don't have all, like as I mentioned, we don't have all the kind of shiny suit crazy stuff going on, all the crazy
I
effects
mean, in his world, it's very
whatnot.
tasteful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very simply done. We've got that shot that gets used again, and I'm assuming this was in or built on a stage, and it's not green screen or anything. With all of it's kind of all of the lights are above them and
Yeah.
going back, which kind of look like speakers as well. I think that's probably the point, that they're meant to look like that, or maybe they are actually speakers. I don't know. We've got that kind of look to it, and then the kind of the typical Hype Williams panning shots and transitions with the kind of different parts of the screen and stuff like that. But yeah, a low key hype.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But like I said, I think it's definitely there to still appreciate, and I think it works. Especially too, it works well with the song. Especially with the Neptune song. It is. It's not. You know, it's upbeat. It's fast. Like I said, it has all those things that the Neptunes are known for, especially in that '01 era. Because it seemed like from a producer and musician standpoint, it seemed like they was getting booked a lot and they was like cranking them out. And a lot of people, from even what I researched, they wanted similar like music, of a certain kind. Ludacris did this, hey, I want this, or hey, I like this track here. Can you give me some of this nature? So, with that being said, it wasn't those tracks. So but it was a like of those tracks. So I just feel like it really panned well to what the music gave. It wasn't over the top. It didn't have to do too much to over conversate for the song. Which is a great director. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely.
that's what they
And
do.
in terms of the track and the beat itself, I like the fact this has the kind of that typical kind of Neptune's sound of the time. But even to me, the beat is kind of stripped back versus a lot of the
It
stuff
is.
they were
It
doing of
is.
around that time as well.
But that bridge is nice. I like that bridge
Hmm.
on there. That bridge is nice. I'm not gonna really. I don't want to over talk and put a sock in my mouth to say, oh, this is the top 10 one or nothing like that. But no, it's a really nice bridge for sure. It's definitely an underrated one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the kind of the first hook, like the key change into the first hook on there as well.
Yeah.
Really nice, so well done. An understated kind of performance from Pharrell as well, who kind of does backing vocals and then is also on
Yeah.
the
Nice.
last hook, I want to say, perhaps he does it. And
Hmm.
then obviously all the ad libs and weird breathy
Kind of like
noises in
a
the beat.
break in between one of the parts. He's like, yeah, and then he goes back into like a verse, which, yeah, I love those ideas, man. I wish more people in music today did that. Just having different sections to music. I think it's really awesome.
This is the sort of track when I don't like the conversation like, oh, I wish the Neptunes made stuff like they used to make, because obviously
Nah, no, because it's still they still got some stuff now. Yeah.
yeah, but this is if they were to ever kind of make a track and they were like, right, we want to do something for this artist, whoever it may be, and we want to go back to like the early 2000s. This is one I wish they made something sounding like this. If I could pick
Mm.
almost anything, this would
I
be
wouldn't
one
be
of those
mad at it
ones.
at all.
Yeah.
I would not be mad. Yeah, that's dope.
And I love in this as well, like I say, that the beat is kind of quite a simplistic beat, versus other kind of Neptune's beats of the time. But I love that kind of it's a Wurlitzer they have on the track. The old kind of Austrian, German, whatever it is, electric piano
Yeah, I
that
love
gives it.
those.
which you wouldn't think would work in like an R&B or hip hop type song, but it fits so well. And obviously they manipulate it in certain ways,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it still sounds so good on that beat. It sounds brilliant.
Yeah, and just add on that point, I mean, that just goes to show, Shad and Pharrell and cohesion of, the type of chord progressions they like to pertain to. Because I even learned from being a musician and kind of taking some notes out of their book. When you use certain chords, man, it literally any instrument you can work with. But then when you also have the skill to, add the Wurlitzer, but then add these other synth sounds and these other sounds that work well with this, yeah, it makes it, yeah, it's kind of like you can hear the soul through all this electronics, which is that's one of the key things I feel like their music made me feel. Is the backing of what they do is neo soul and R&B, but they can switch it to rock instruments and give it a rock feel, but it's very soulful behind it. It's really dope how they're able to do that.
What else did I have on the track? I think that was all of my notes that I had. Anything else specific you want to kind of bring up around this one?
No, I think we really hit on all of them. Like I said, I really just want people to know, Hype Williams video that I felt like, even if you go on YouTube, Hype Williams, someone curated like a Hype Williams playlist and it's in there, but you have to really go through there. But it's not, like I said, it's not the top 10 thing you would see. It's not screaming at you. It's like I said, it's underrated track, really dope, well produced. I love the bridge. Babyface, them working with Babyface and then people being familiar with that. It's one of those features. Neptunes are really cool with. They put me onto a lot of artists I wouldn't have not listened to, if it was just them. To be honest, I'm not just going straight to Babyface because it's Neptunes. It's like, okay, I like Babyface on here, so let me dig through what, and I feel like a lot of people around my age who's getting into Neptunes, that's kind of how we process getting into, certain history of Neptunes and just the music they made. So it's one of those, man. It's one of those. If you're trying to find something new to listen to and dig, like you got to put this on your list for sure.
Definitely. And the album itself, Face to Face, I think was quite an underrated album in terms of sort of R&B albums
I
of
gotta
that
go peep the
time.
whole album. I gotta go check out the whole album for sure.
Yeah, and the Neptunes have one other track on there. What's it called? Stressed Out, which again is a
Hmm.
really nice Neptunes track. I don't know if it was released as a single. I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, I think an underrated Neptunes track.
I'm gonna go peep that. I don't think I heard that honestly.
Check that one out as well.
For sure, for sure.
I will also in the show notes put a link to obviously all the YouTube videos and pages and whatnot, but also a really good live version I found of this from 2001. It is god
Mm.
awful quality, but it's a really nice video. Babyface playing it live, Babyface actually playing the guitar as well
Woo. That's
as he
fire.
does the song on stage. So yeah, you can check that out as well.
Definitely gonna peep that.
That's the track. Let's get into some news. Obviously, we've not been away all that long, so there's not too much news. Although we've had a few Pharrell bits and pieces the last few days. Let me try and work through some of these. So let's start with some BBC news. A few bits of news actually.
Mm.
BBC EU. They had their I think fourth drop of the new ice cream stuff. That came out a couple of days back. We're recording this on Monday the 24th. So I think they came out Friday. I had to jump on there and grab a new Cone Man crew neck. They released the OG Cone Man design. So I had to grab one of those. That came earlier
Yeah.
on today,
Hmm.
actually. 'Cause I
I
love
ain't
that
mad at that.
original Cone Man design. Do I have it here somewhere? I'm looking for it and I'm recording a podcast. No one else can see this, obviously.
It's all good, brother.
There we go. I'll show it off to the camera. There we
For
go.
sure. Yeah, that's what I envision in my head. Yeah. I ain't
Yeah,
mad at
so
that.
the original
Super
Cone
OG.
Man logo on the front of a crew neck. I love that design, love that logo, so I had to
Yeah,
grab that.
anytime, I see some stuff that's kind of reminiscent of the OG designs that's new and it really plays it to it well, yeah, I go ahead and grab that. You can't be mad at that. And
Yeah,
I'm a
definitely.
person, I lean a little bit more towards the we're gonna keep it OG and none of it at all. But yeah, stuff like that, man. I gotta go pick that up. So I ain't mad
Yeah,
at that.
a lot of the recent stuff I've only been buying things where they're using some of the the OG logos and stuff. So I think from drop one or two, I got Cones and Bones crew neck and a couple other bits when I was in London as well. So yeah, they're doing some good stuff. Reimagining the original ice cream kind of designs and logos. So shout out Ross and everyone else at BBC EU doing some good stuff there. We also saw on Thursday or Friday, a BBC Casetify collaboration.
I did see that.
Yeah, so
Those are sick.
if you're not aware, Casetify are, a large creator of mobile phone accessories, predominantly cases. They do a lot of collaborations with artists, whether that's in the art world or music or wherever. They've done a couple of BBC ones previously, which I missed out on. So for this one, I had to grab a few things. So I think out of the 10 or 12 products that came out, I grabbed, what did I grab? 3 of the MagSafe wallets for an iPhone. So there's one with the Cone Man again, there's one with the astronaut head, and I think I got the Diamond and Dollars one. And then I also got an Apple Watch band as well with the space camo design on it, which I'm a big fan of. They also did one of the, I think, a waffle print watch band, and then they did a load of cases and laptop MacBook cases as well. They did do a Starfield one. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a sucker for the Starfield pattern and design. I did even debate buying a new MacBook just so I could buy the case. But luckily, my old head prevailed, and I realised that was one of the most ridiculous ideas I've ever had. So I quite quickly stopped myself at just the 4 items for now. Another one that got announced today, well, teased yesterday and announced today, is BBC collaboration with Overtime, who make, I believe it's just like kind of basketball wear they make. And BBC are putting on a basketball match of some kind, from what I've seen, where you can go and you can also get exclusive accessories and clothing at the event, at the basketball match. But they're also going to be selling in the store 3 basketball, I guess you guys call them jerseys, don't you? With the matching shorts. There is a Diamond and Dollars pattern. There is a space camo pattern in a slightly different colour, more of an orangey tone. And then there is also a Starfield pattern one. I don't wear anything basketball related, but I'm going to be buying that no matter what, just because it looks amazing.
Yeah, I like the Starfield for sure.
You're wearing a BBC shirt there as well, I can see.
Yes, sir.
Anything you've kind of recently picked up, anything you've seen of recent times that you do like?
If we're gonna go, let me go with BBC. Last time I got anything new from BBC, to be honest, was the New York trip to King of Creams at the Takeover. Yeah, I got a couple of stuff from there. I got about like 5 tees from there, including this one. More so kind of like what I said earlier, more so stuff that I seen that was like OG designs, so something like this, and it's New York, plays off the, OG BBC, so I had to get that one. Yeah, as far as BBC, but I've been really getting deep into like just getting to my Bape stuff, man. Like just like, and not even like necessarily hoodies or like the shirts, but like more so um kind of like accessories. So like Bape belt buckles. I just ordered some Bape glasses that's coming in the mail tomorrow actually. That like I never seen from like Nego era. So just like I don't know, I really love diving into that. The albums even too. Like I just got the Nego Bape Sounds album not too long ago. Yeah, so stuff like that with the original packaging, so I can read all the liner notes and the custom posters that he always come with some cool stuff in them CDs. So I love to get those.
It's like you planned this segue into the next bit of news I had, and that was
Awesome.
Nigo's Kenzo debut yesterday in Paris. He did his first show for Kenzo. I guess his job title is artistic director or something like that. So this was his first show. Obviously, all the heavy hitters came out for Nigo's first show. Kanye, P, Tyler, all those kind of guys. Pusha was there. Tyler actually scored all the music for the event, which was amazing.
Ridiculously sick. That's super sick.
There was a new Pusha track debuted. And from what I hear, that's going to be off of Nigo's new album, which comes out March the 24th, I think, if memory serves me right. So again, as with previous Nego projects, it's just full of the good and the great of the hip-hop world. He can kind of rope in pretty much anyone he wants. I can't remember all the names off the top of my head that they announced already, but obviously,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Pharrell is on there, and Cuddy and all these people.
ASAP, Tyler, of
Yeah.
course, Uzi, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone Nigo's been working with over the last kind of few years is making an appearance of some kind on there. So that will be coming soon. Also, speaking of new music, Rakeem Miles, he's got a new track out today. I think it's already debuted on Zane Lowe's Beats One show. I think it was on Beats One. Co-produced by Mike Larson. So Mike is the engineer for Pharrell and Chad, and also produces stuff as well as DJing and being a photographer and everything else that he does. So definitely go and check that out. Rakeem very kindly sent me a copy of this a week ago or so that I got to listen to. Really liked it. So yeah, go check out his new track as well. What other news did I have? That was all the news I had, I think.
Yeah, shouts out Rakeem Miles. Shouts out Rakeem. I rock with
Yeah,
Rakeem.
Rakeem's done really good stuff. I think he's got a lot of new stuff coming out soon. One thing I did want to mention very quickly, just touching back on Nigo's Kenzo show yesterday on, was it Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was. Pharrell kind of quietly launched a new collaboration with Tiffany, the kind of jewelry maker, and he was to kind of announce this, I guess, or to tease it. He was wearing an interesting, let's say, pair of sunglasses. I think most of us would have probably seen this on Instagram, but I wanted to mention it because I first saw the picture and was like, "What the is he wearing?" So if you haven't seen
Did I
them,
see the picture? I don't know if
oh,
I've seen the
you
picture.
need to get on Instagram pretty
Yeah.
quick and look at this.
I don't think I've seen the picture. Yeah, not of that. I've seen everything about Kenzo, but I don't know about that one.
So they are some almond-shaped glasses, or the
Hmm.
lenses are almond-shaped, with diamonds going all the way around each lens on the frame, and then
Dang,
I
I
want to say
forgot.
it's a ruby, I think, on each kind of temple, and then the rest of the glasses are made out of like 18 karat gold. They're one of those things where I look at them and my first immediate thought is that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. It looks so dumb. But then as I see more
Yeah.
pictures, it's just like Pharrell can just pull that off.
Yeah, man, this
He can
dude,
pull off
he's a
anything.
wizard, bro. He a
Yeah.
wizard, man. Like he just, yeah, no, it's, yeah. That's why I'm like, the more you start to describe it, I'm like, I mean, I can kind of see a picture of it, maybe that paint it better, but I mean, no, it sounds pretty crazy and over top, something that he can pull off, but it doesn't sound like we can do it.
Yeah, for sure. If I wore any glasses, even ones that weren't covered in diamonds, that were just that shape, it would. I
I'm
don't
not
know the
mad at
shape
the
of it.
diamonds though,
No, well, no,
personally.
it's a nice addition. Obviously, if you
Yeah,
can do
for
it, you
sure,
do it.
for
But
sure.
I sort of think the shape of the glasses just makes me think of like a 1950s or 60s school teacher kind of look. I don't know if that's where the influence comes from, but that's the
I
kind of
really thought
vibe
you
the
was gonna
vibe I
say something
get.
totally different from that. Like, like that really just went like left to me. Well, I mean, due to the 1960s things, like on that point, I mean, I do know like when you look at like human made and a lot of things that they have been wearing, it has been kind of, if you're into fashion,
There's
it
a lot
has
of
been,
vintage throwbacks, yeah, and
yeah, they've been
references.
kind of going to the 1950s, 60s, that era of dressing. So that's not really, yeah. I guess I'm not surprised, man. It's like at this point, he do what he do. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Nigo and what they're doing. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I think like many people on this podcast have said, I think on months of other topics y'all talked about, with all these things they do in this new year, we could sit here and talk about, man, I wish this, or I missed the old stuff, and we can go down memory lane. But it's really there's not many people in the industry at all who can last this long, and it seems like they're going up new levels and reaching new boundaries, breaking new ground. They're still really doing what they was doing back in the day. They really are, and that's amazing. It's really teaching us how to grow. What
Yeah,
to do after you reach that youth. What to do after you have made millions of dollars, this and the other. You had the success. You reached that pinnacle, but it's like how to keep on moving forward. And I think there's not many people in this industry showing us that, especially for musicians. So it's something to commend and really honor and admire for sure.
definitely. And I'm going to hold up to the camera again, people listening. just just do whatever you need to do for a minute. But I don't know if you can.
Okay, now I did see those. See, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. Okay, I'm not mad at those. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I ain't
See,
mad
in
at that
this
at all.
image with Pharrell that we're looking at, that Pharrell posted, they don't look too bad. I'll give him
They
that.
don't. They don't.
But there were some images I saw them and I was just like, what the are
Yeah,
those?
yeah. That's kind of expected. Yeah, for dramatic effect, maybe the angling and the perspective of the camera they're getting and really making it look like the super vibrant and probably big and bold. But just him chilling like that, sitting up. Like if I see him, like that's for real. I'm not even noticing. Oh, what's that on his face? It's like man, it's for real. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's him being him.
But
It's
yeah,
fire.
like we say, he can pull off anything. He's at that
Yeah, that's
stage
what
in
he
his life
do.
where, yeah,
He's
he
the
could wear
wizard,
anything and it looks good. So
the wizard, man.
damn
Literally.
him. What else did we have to talk about? Let's talk
For
about you
no,
for a bit.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I love to talk about me at times.
I guess I'll open the floor up to you. Like, tell me and everyone else, like, kind of what you've got going on, what we should be looking out for.
Um, so first off, I guess I'll let people know what I got going on. So, first and foremost, I am a musician. I'm a rapper, artist, producer. I started producing my own music and projects. Paris Flacko is, of course, my Instagram, but Paris Flacko is the brand. I'm currently a business owner with Paris Flacko. So, with that being said, I don't put music out on like Apple Music or anything of that nature. I have my website and I've been distributing my music that way, creating revenue for myself. On the other end, as far as what I do for this culture, I've started this thing, Tokyo Milk Shop. It really started as me selling clothes, and it grew to the way I was selling clothes. It was like I wasn't just buying things and just trying to just get it out there to make a profit. My idea was like let me sell stuff that like I really like and give the history to it. So I made it kind of like a caveat thing to buy from me, and then from there, I kind of started to, like I said, as I collected more pieces and more different archive things to learn the history. It's like let me like start uploading music and tracks and things like that. So that's what I've been doing on the side with Tokyo Milk Shop, with that. So that's something that I'm growing for the base space. And even like I have a future interview with Nick Rusher that I had a chance of meeting on Instagram. Really cool dude. And we can kind of dive in and kind of discover some of the history on Nico's Bape album, which is really interesting. So that's just like kind of main stuff that I got going on for now. Um, a lot of people may also know me from King of Creams and producing for his YouTube channel as well. That really, I feel like, to be honest, that's kind of like my cosign in this space on the real. If we're gonna keep it all the way 100, like that's yeah, man. That I don't want to really go too much into that, man. But just say, man, that dude's my brother. He's an amazing person. Like it's really truly been like a life changing experience meeting him. Honestly, it's crazy, man. Seriously.
Yeah, shout out Dave if
Shout
you
out
know
Dave.
Dave, if you're friends with Dave, then yeah, you'll he'll put you on. He'll put you in his videos. He'll invite you to his house and throw pairs of ice creams at your head. He'll do anything for you.
Yeah, he will, bro. He will, bro. He's like I said, he's always there for me, man. I appreciate that, man. Like, I don't want to, make it a whole I love Dave session, but that's my boy. He know what it is, man. Shouts out King of Creams, man.
To be fair, if we made it a whole I Love Dave session, he would love it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, he deserved it. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be sad to do it, bro. I'll do it.
And we should also say, yeah, he put a new video out the other day since our last podcast, which was what was it? It was like top 10 of 2020 or something like that.
Top 10 of 2021. Yes, sir.
That's God, yeah, I can't remember what year it is now. Jesus, 2021. Yes.
Which I scored all the music for, So all those instruments you're hearing, yeah, and I play everything. I use samples at times, but honestly, for the most part, I learned music theory and I learned chord progressions. I started really getting heavily into that like 3 years ago. So not to try to like brag on myself, but I kind of fastly learned and was able to create like very high quality music, and that was something that he took notice to, and me scoring his video is kind of like a leading direction of really what I want to do ultimately as an artist, which is score film TV. So that's why, like, hearing Tyler doing what he's doing for Kenzo, that stuff definitely gives me inspiration. And like I said, I pay attention to these things because they're paving the way and they're showing me the blueprint on how to do this myself. So King giving me that, that little push to do that and giving me opportunity to do that on the scale of his YouTube videos, which is an honor. Man, it means a lot to me, man. So definitely go check those videos out. And it's the shoes he's talking about is so sick. It's dope. He's very informational with the content. I mean the edits, everything. I mean, it's really just phenomenal work. I think it's really
Yeah,
something people should
I've
look
got to
at.
say, I said this on the last podcast when I was chatting to Dave, but yeah, he's upped his own game as well.
Yeah,
Definitely over
man.
the last year or two, in terms of what he's putting out. And what I did, I was gonna say what I did like. I didn't necessarily like it, but I found it interesting. Was obviously he said you'd done the music for it, as usual. So I put the video on the other day on the big TV, turned the volume up so obviously I can hear all the music and stuff as well. And one of the first things that starts playing in the video is a sample of me. And
Yeah, yeah,
that
that's
threw me
dope.
a little bit.
It's really
That
dope.
confused me. I was like, "Am I watching the right thing? What's going on here?" So yeah, so that came from our last podcast. So that was a little bit strange, but yeah, shout out to Dave for putting me in there as well.
Yeah, I think once again, like, that just goes to like his editing and how he's looking at it. He There's a lot of people, on YouTube who may do pickup videos and things like that, but he's taking more of a cinematic approach with things and really trying to web it into his life and his personality, which is really interesting, especially maybe because I know him and maybe I'm able to peep, certain things. But I think even for me not knowing him, because before that was the thing, I was a fan of him. I was a fan of all you guys, honestly. Even people like shouts out Sis Letter. I didn't know none of y'all, but I'm just watching from afar and, just into what everyone's doing. And to kind of see, how that's all connected within his videos as well is dope. So I think that was cool how he put the podcast and something he was saying into that. And even the things from Complex, this is really dope how he's doing that. And on some marketing tip for people who's business minded, I think that's a really great way of keeping the content alive. Like,
Yeah,
you don't just put out one thing and just let that be it, and then you put out an Instagram post, people like it, comment, and kind of let it die out. But with him doing the YouTube content, he's able to revamp the hype of what he's done, or just put notice onto things that he's doing consistently through the videos, which is really smart and it works, within the video. So
definitely. And what I also really like, again, we don't want to turn this into a I Love Dave podcast.
for sure.
Again, but like I say, he probably will love it if we do. But what I really like is these videos. They're when I first linked up with him years, 5 years ago, or whatever it was, or more than that now, we were talking about doing content together, and we did a few videos and whatnot. It was obviously all very BBC ice cream focused. But for those that don't know Dave as well as we do, he is also a massive collector of many other things aside from ice creams, including Jordan and stuff like that, and Yeezys and
Exactly.
whatnot. So his video and his content, is really expanding into those areas as well. It's not just all ice cream focused or all BBC ice cream focused. There's a lot of stuff in there in terms of like Yeezy stuff and Jordan stuff, whatever else he may have. So that's really good to see as well.
Exactly, expanding it, and that may put notice to people who may come there for the Yeezys. Now they're seeing about these ice creams. What are those? Or I didn't know this much about the shoe, and yeah, I think that's awesome. I definitely would like, if you don't mind, I would definitely love to go into like the New York trip from my perspective. I know that y'all talked
Oh
about
yeah,
it the last, but I think it'll be interesting to give my perspective from being there.
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
For
'Cause
sure.
I was really gutted that I missed that. Like, if we'd been able to travel and all that sort of thing, I'd have been over there to see that
Yeah,
just
and
for the
it was
day
kind of
for
also
sure.
a thing too, where it was like, I think it was kind of up in the air about the event at one point as well. Just like the timing and everything. So, because even like how I got up there was really like last minute, bro. But yeah, just kind of going to that. That was pretty sick. Like I said, he told me like about the event pretty much like short notice, and I kind of had already been prepped to kind of want to go up there. So that was my first time in New York, first of all, for me. So, and my first time traveling out of Texas, period. So for me, it was like ridiculous to kind of go on this like travel experience within its own, but to a place that I really want to go. You know, me being a huge Neptunes fan and BBC, and not only that, for me, it was ridiculous because it was like going to the BBC store in that era. For that one day, it was like that. Like, you know, I get there, you know, of course, the big BBC thing, which for me, I never seen that besides on the internet, but seeing it in person in the New York, you know, store, like the big BBC thing on the back is just like, man, like that's like it's just this is I don't know, the aura of it, man, is just ridiculous. And then you know, he's playing the Neptunes music, which I love. He's just playing nothing but classics, and just the way that the ice creams was just modeled up everywhere, man. It was, bro, it's wild, man. Like I'm really kind of speechless. I'm really trying to just like find my footing in it because it was a lot of emotions and a lot of things running through my head. One of the things to note was just amazing people I met, you know, that has been on this podcast, like some from the hill. Shouts out some from the hill. You know, he was
Shout out
there.
Sim, yep.
Yeah, he was there, and you know, I got to kind of meet him and talk to him. Shouts out also shouts out Andre Uncut. You know, he was there as well. He's somebody that I deem in this community. He has done, you know, photography work, BBC collector. You know, he really puts on for the culture. I didn't even know he was going to be there, you know, and it's like running into all these people was crazy. And then at the end of the day, you know, as he's going through the event and talking about the shoes and going through, you know, everything, there's a certain section where people had to pretty much, you know, had questions or whatever. And it was just seeing like the admiration for him and other people inspired by him, you know, within the room. All these great people, Andre Uncut, Son from the Hill, me included, you know, just really inspired with what he did and just everybody here just for the joys of the culture, man. It was amazing, bro. Like, I really hope that that happens again, like, at some point, you know? It would be nice for that to happen, yeah.
Definitely. So, you know, back in the day when we started the podcast, we'd only done a few episodes. We did like a small meet up at the BBC store. And I didn't think anyone would turn up. I didn't think we had anyone that listened to the podcast. And we had people come through, you know, during the couple of hours we were there. So it was great to like, you know, meet people and stuff. But we, I know I at least definitely want to do something like that again in the future if we can. Once we
Yeah.
get this kind of up and running a bit more and
Because I feel like this
it
had to
becomes
be at
more of a regular
BBC.
thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to
Yeah.
be there, you know. I think I know someone, I don't know what video or what I was watching, but someone mentioned about like everyone, what if all the collectors, everyone has brought like, you know, these dope pieces and we all like just museumed it out like in a room in a space, like rented a space, pull all this
Yeah.
stuff together. Like that would be really dope, you know, just that in itself. So, no, I love that concept of what they did, man. It was amazing, bro. It really was a dream come true. Like I said, especially for me being my first time in New York, my first time to go to the store and to see it in that way it's like unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were saying like before the podcast started, you know, it's such a tight community. You know, the brand and the music is kind of, you know, it's worldwide and everyone kind of knows it. But the community of like real fans that want to talk about this stuff week in, week out and listen to an idiot like me chat nonsense about it every couple of weeks on a podcast is really small and really tight. And that's what I love about it. Because I know I could go to New York tomorrow and I
Hmm.
would know people I could just go and stay
Yeah,
with, or I could meet for a drink. I know people I could,
that's wild,
you know,
bro.
I could go to Texas and you know you're there.
Yeah,
I could go to pretty much anywhere. And there's somebody within our community that you kind of know. And again, as I say, you know, when we did the meet up in the BBC store a few years back, it amazed me that anybody came through, let alone the people that did. So it's an amazing thing, this kind of community we're in, especially if you are a creative person such as yourself, who's you know making
wish,
music and
man.
looking you know, for opportunities and stuff. Yeah, we're all kind of there to support each other, and that's what I kind of love about it. And that's why you know I've jumped back on the podcast and trying to start to do it more
Which,
regularly because it's
mhm.
important to you know not just me but a lot of other people out there.
Which kind of segue to the point that I want to kind of dive into earlier because this kind of connects to my troubles of me growing up as like a young artist and finding my way through this medium. And it's kind of like so for me, like I said, I was born in '97, right? My teenage years and me being in high school was like 2014 to like 2015. I mean, I'm sorry, not 2014, 2015, more like 2012 to 2015, whatever. So like that era, like Migos is popping. Chief Keef is huge. I can even say like in the underground scene, Soldier Boy. Like this was like the stuff that kind of emerged. ASAP Rocky, Tyler the Creators kind of came out at that time. Matt Miller for that type of rap, but trap rap was like huge. Like it was really infectious, and I've kind of through my generation kind of seen like the rise of the trap music and the different variations of it, from the Gucci Mans to the Waka Flocka to the Migos to kind of what we have today. And I was kind of, I don't know, man. I'm definitely a weird kid. Like I grew up in the hood to where that was predominantly that was what's going on. Like I grew up in pretty much a poor community, definitely crime ridden, drug infested. So you kind of a product of the environment. So that music is a soundtrack for the way they're living, and you kind of have no choice but to kind of be somewhat injected into that. But behind closed doors, I was listening to rock music. I was watching MTV and into skateboarding and just into just different cultures and just a different way of thinking. So it wasn't until I got to like college, I did South by Southwest for the first time actually, and I opened for Playboy Cardi and Lil Yachty. And that kind of showed me like, man, I can really do this music thing. I got deeper into that of making that type of music. At the time, kind of like new wave trap. I was kind of on the post of something new because at this time, this is 2015. Lil Yachty and Playboy Cardi's like, they're not signed yet, but they have like huge internet buzz, like millions of views and things like that. But to be honest, I kind of, long story short, I did this event with Lyrical Lemonade and I won. It was like a freestyle contest. You win for like $500. This was at another South by Southwest event in Austin. I won the contest. I was supposed to be promised an interview, and it never came about. For whatever reason, I don't know, man. But it kind of, I'm not gonna lie, put me in like this weird place to where I started to reflect on where I was at as an artist at this song. What am I chasing? Like, what am I doing? What do my music mean? And that kind of took me time like to dial back and like let me kind of find myself. So I kind of left Instagram, I left Twitter, I left social media. Like the people who was around, I kind of backed off a little bit, and I don't know, man. I was just listening to different kinds of music, and I started wandering on like the '06 for real. So I started getting deeper into that, and then from there, that's when I started Instagramming and like looking up for different people who like that type of stuff, and just getting into the clothes and stuff. It was kind of like at this point super innocent. Like I'm just into this right now, but I'm not really making this music. I'm not really feeling oh, this is what I need to do. But through time, it started to really translate to my life, and the messages within the music really started to shape my mind, and it made me look at the trap era and what they was doing. It's not to sit and say, "Oh, let me just disband this." It's just like there's something missing here, Like especially in today's music, a lot of rappers talk about flexing and I got this and I do this better than you, and this is different. Y'all ain't doing this, but it's like, dude, this is really different. You know what I'm saying? Like the Neptunes and that music, not just the Neptunes, but just early 2000s, the 90s, just super musical music out of that era. It really spoke to me, and I really like got deep into that. And I just started like I said earlier, I started digging deeper through the history, finding new songs, really just educate myself on the game of the Neptunes and what they did and just music. And through there, I started to find different people within the culture. Shouts out someone, Ice Cream Billionaire. He doesn't post as much, but shouts out Ice Cream Billionaire. He's one of the people when I got on Instagram around like 2015, I mean 2017, 2018, he was doing a lot of big posts with Star Trek Nerd and things like that, educating people on N.E.R.D, like kind of taking like a journalistic approach to it, which kind of definitely helped me just, go on my Instagram. I'm learning new things I never learned before. And that kind of snowballed into me meeting Six Letter somehow, and we actually got a song together and collaborated, and I speak frequent with him, and just like I said, just different people in the space, and now King, people like you. So just going, I know that was like a whole thing, but it's just going to say that how this culture work, how I was able to work in that sense, like through my passion of music and through this history, I was able to connect to different people, and it integrated through my artistry and what I want to become, and it's been helping me. Like now, I feel like I'm doing way better as an artist as far as the people who listen to my music. I mean, I'm starting to make money from this at a certain point. all these things is through, really being passionate about the culture and finding something niche and working within that space. It's really worked out for me. And it's like, I don't know, I wish more people can pay attention to the DNA of what's going on here because I feel like that would really change the music industry and the way we digest music.
Yeah, man, that's really good to hear. It's one of those things now. It's like, if you're passionate and driven, like you are,
Hmm.
as you've just obviously articulated, the kind of the world is your oyster almost now, with so many avenues and ways to kind of connect to people, link up with people. You can DM people now and get in touch with them and open the conversation that way, as opposed to years ago you'd have to find a phone number, or go through an agent or a PR person or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
Now we have that kind of direct contact with people, so it's like it's great to see people like yourself really utilizing that and driving that forward, and as you say, making yourself better as well and improving constantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a journey, man. It's still going. Like I said, it's still elevating this year. I mean, I'm looking at some really big things happening for me this year. I have a lot of projects to drop. Man, I'm stashed with beats, man. Like I'm like a beataholic, bro. Like I make so many tracks, it's like ridiculous. And I'm just steady learning and elevating. I mean, it's the way I started to make tracks once again from the Neptunes and learning their DNA. It really changed the way I looked at music, and it pushed me to learn the piano and learn music theory and things of that nature. That's a skill that at the end of the day, if I don't put out an album at all, I live in Austin, Texas. I can just go live show and just play and make like hundreds of dollars live at night, just playing probably the same chords all night, the same 4-part chords because I learned this skill, through a culture that kind of motivated me to learn this skill. That's the thing I love about this culture as well. It's like I don't know, it just really pushes you to be creative and explore different boundaries. And there's so many different creative people doing so many different things. It's really inspiring to find where you're gonna go to versus where, not trap music or what's going on in that world. It's very linear. It's super linear. It's like sell drugs, talk about drugs, do drugs, and look this way, play a part this way, and kind of follow this medium. And it's like if you try to do anything that messes with this DNA, we're gonna shun you. And that's kind of like what happened to me, where it's like it kind of hit me. It was like I don't belong here, bro. Like this is not where I need to be maneuvering in space. These not people that I think is going to acknowledge and appreciate my intellect, my mindset on how I'm approaching this music. And I need to find a community and a culture who, respects me and not necessarily respect, but more so appreciates what I do. Respect is needed, but more so appreciation is what I care about. And I found that here, and it's great, man. It really feels great.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, the community that we're part of is so kind of tight knit, but it does, it reaches wide, and we're all obviously there to support each other.
Yeah,
So,
it's like me talking
there's
to you
definitely
is crazy.
opportunities. Yeah, exactly. Who would have thought, like, if you'd have said to me 10, 15, 20 years ago, yeah, you'll be doing a podcast and chatting to people in Texas and New York and LA and
Wild, bro.
wherever, I'd have been like, nah, yeah, probably not. I don't think so. But it opens up so many avenues, and it just takes that dedication like you've got to kind of keep grinding at it. Because like I say, we all support, we all try and help. Everyone does it for each other. So you've definitely got people there to sort of help you out along the way. And if there's anyone else out there as well that's kind of getting into this stuff or is looking for help or ideas or advice, then I highly recommend reaching out to people that have been on the podcast and other people in our kind of community that we have. If you go on Instagram, you see we all kind of follow each other and stuff, and you'll soon start picking out who to interact with and who might be able to help you, because we're all definitely there for that for sure.
Yeah, man. Which is like I said, that's a rarity, bro. It's not out here like that. Like that's not really a case in most other people community, especially like I said, being an artist. Like any artist that's listening right now, they can relate to how cutthroat just on the internet space people are, with reception to music, just even being real and saying, man, your stuff is dope. Like, that's kind of hard to get. So it's like I said, shouts out to letter people like that acknowledging me like way earlier on. Like, I feel like when my music wasn't what it should have been yet, he was already acknowledging some of my earlier work and appreciating it there. I guess it's like him already seeing the potential and the concepts of what I was doing. Because I feel like now, yeah, I'm on a whole different plateau, But yeah, man, it's really dope, bro. I can really go on and on about this because, like I said, for me, it's life changing. For me, being in uh, small Texas city, and then coming to Austin, where it's predominantly, like I said, man, to be honest, it's not many there's not an urban culture here, quote unquote. I even hate using that word urban, but to be frank, there's not many black people here that's into hip hop. There's not like a hip hop show or a venue here to where this is what they play, this is what you're gonna get. That's not necessarily the case. So it's like I have no option but to utilize the internet to find where I can be where I can grow as an artist and as a business and just even have friends, like true, and then, like I said, King to me is a true friend. Like, without all of this, like, no matter what, I don't really, my relationship with him is not based on him being quote unquote kings of creams. It's the person he is. Same thing with my friend Ice Cream Billionaire. Same thing with Six Letter. Like, these are really just great people, and their morals and their output on life really is parallel to mine, and it helps me grow. And that's amazing that this internet and this culture of Pharrell and loving his music and paying attention to this, being a student really has led to this. Like, that's amazing in its own. It's really, I don't know, man. I really want people to capture that and understand that, and I would love for people to utilize that, in their lives, because I think this could be applied to any medium of media or anything. If it's not media, 9 to 5 jobs, if you work in corporate, this can be applied to, just a way of life. And I feel like a lot of people don't use the internet and Instagram like that, especially with the explore page and things like that. They kind of just throw stuff at you. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I think you touched on it earlier on a while back. It's not just about and I'm guilty of this, so I can't say too much. But yeah, it's not nowadays. It's not just a case of posting a photo, having a few hashtags on it, putting it out there, leaving it alone. Yeah, you've got to engage. You've got to be looking at,
you
like
gotta
you
be
say,
passionate. Yeah.
you got to go on that explore page, find other people that are posting similar things. Look at other people that the likes of Instagram may suggest to you, because Instagram as part of Facebook knows a lot about you and a
Oh
lot about
yeah.
what you're interested in, and
You want to stay
and
here
while
another
it may
hour? We can go into that.
exactly, yeah, and while some people obviously may find that a bit weird and a bit creepy and stuff, yeah, and it partly is,
It really
it
is.
does
Yeah.
lend itself to some really good suggestions when it comes to stuff that it throws your way on social media apps like Instagram,
Once
where it
you
says,
tune
"Hey,
it, yeah,
check this person out," or this topic, or whatever it might be.
yeah. Once you tune it and you use the algorithm to kind of train what you like, and yeah, it really works great. Because yeah, I think at this point I've already tuned my YouTube and everything else to where I
Yeah.
see exactly what I want. At this point, so that's one of the things too. Like I said, is understanding that though, but you have to understand what you're doing with that first to even get to that point. Because if not, if you just get like a blank slate Instagram, yeah, you're gonna see all kinds of stuff. You're gonna see,
I'll go on a small old man rant,
yeah.
and young people listen up, and old people as well. To be fair, yeah, one thing I really detest, touching on that, is people that complain about Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it might be, and they say things like, "Well, I don't want to see pictures of like somebody posting what they're having for dinner." And my answer is always, I work in social media and marketing and stuff. So my answer is always, don't follow those people then. If that's not what you want to see, do not follow it. Oh, but it's like it's a member of my family or a friend or what. You're not obliged to
I
follow
don't follow them.
anybody.
Yeah,
You
simple as
follow
that.
what you find interesting. Work out like what you want to learn about in your life, and start looking up those subjects and start following those subjects. If you want to learn, if you're interested in, I don't know, space, go and follow the NASA account, follow SpaceX, follow, if you want to see some crazy weird shit, follow Elon Musk, whoever it may be. If you want to be a little bit more
Yes,
out there, I guess. And don't confuse the message with the medium. It's not Facebook's fault or Instagram's fault or Twitter's fault that you're seeing shit in your feed. It's your fault. And like you
it
said,
really
you
is.
need to train it. You need to take the time to actually mark stuff as, I'm not interested in this. Do not show me stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, do show me stuff like this. Because just going through and just, hearting everything and liking everything just makes the platforms feed you more and more and more of the same sort of stuff over and over again. So take the time and the effort to actually block accounts, mute certain hashtags if you use certain apps, unfollow things, mark things as, go on the explore page. If you see something, you're like, why is this crap being shown to me? Press on it and say, not interested. Actually teach it what you want to see, and it will then open up those doors to you, and you will start seeing more interesting stuff and useful stuff.
That will improve your life, like dead ass. Like it literally will improve your life because you tune in at, it's the way I've tuned my media on my YouTube and Instagram and things, etc. It's built to where I'm not gonna stay here long. I'm seeing so much inspiration. I'm seeing so much things going on. I gotta get up and go make a beat. I gotta go get up and go outside. I gotta go cook. I gotta go, do things that's useful and build skill. It just really inspires because I follow nothing that inspires me. Anytime, like everything I see is I'm not seeing. Like I said, like a lot of these new rappers, for me personally, they're trying to market to me. But I've literally tuned myself to where I don't want to see this. Like I don't care for that honestly at this point because I'm already hip to what they're trying to push and what their agendas are, and it's like no, I'm on a different agenda. Let me follow this so I can create my own thing, and especially being an independent artist, and that's it's really mainly necessary because I feel like mental health and all that plays a part in that as well because we can get down a whole situation of how not doing this can really interfere with your mind, interfere with just being super lackadaisical about life, and you're not accomplishing things. And like you said, people's like, well, they just complain. They just sit up and complain. It's like putting no action into anything.
Yeah, it's if you, I would say to people like if you follow Kim Kardashian and people like that, you're only going to ever see certain content.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And therefore, don't complain about it. If you're going to complain about it, unfollow that shit. Follow stuff that's useful. And I'll give away one of my secrets here. People complain to me about is if I go on, let's say I go on Facebook, for example. I still use Facebook. I'm obviously an old man now, so I still have to use it. But I live in a foreign country, so I've got an excuse.
And you say you're a social media marketer, so you gotta use it all.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, and I manage groups and things on there as well, so I still use it. But I would say, I've not lived in the UK now for 9 years. It'll be 9 years in a couple of weeks. In fact, I moved out to Finland. I would say 90% of the people that I know in the UK that I'm friends with on Facebook, I've unfollowed. Whether they're really good friends of mine, childhood friends, school friends, even family members. Because you know what? Everything that they're doing in their lives in the UK has no relevance to my life here in Finland whatsoever. No relevance. Of course, sometimes it might be nice to see when some big kind of event happens, but day to day, generally, I don't need to see I don't need to see they've gone to the park for the day or they're on the train to London for a day out or something. Yeah. It bears no relevance on my life. So I've muted kind of all of those people, and I don't remove them because I still want to be able to contact them easily if I need to, but I unfollow them and I don't see any of their stuff. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I have people complain about this, it goes the same for Instagram. I will, if I know you, I'm not talking about you here personally, but if I know somebody personally, if I do a podcast with them or whatever, I'll always make sure I follow them. I'll always try and make sure I stay in touch. But if over time that person isn't posting anything I find relevant or interesting or whatever, then again, they get muted, or in some cases they just get unfollowed if it's just shit they're posting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you got to do. You've got to be, you can't get kind of, sentimental with this stuff. You've got to remember, like you said, it's your own life, it's your own content you're seeing,
and that should be respected.
You choose what you want to see. Yeah, and it's your own mental health as well, like you say.
Yeah, that should be respected, bro.
I'm trying to teach my kid now, who's like 11. Yeah, he has Instagram. He probably shouldn't, but he does. And he has TikTok. He shouldn't, but he does. But we have to have these conversations about who you follow, why you follow them, and who you don't follow, and why you don't follow them. And if someone is just posting rubbish, even if it's your best friend from school that
I
you
love
see
that
every
word.
day, you just unfollow them. You just unfollow. You just be done with it and move
Yeah,
on and
man.
get on with your own life and worry about your own shit.
I agree. Yeah, I hate that. Like I said, and really, all these things go down to the morality and the principality of a person. Because me, for instance, like how you mentioned, you follow me, but now we have numbers. So if I really want to check in on you, I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna keep in touch with you. Just the same thing with
Exactly.
my family. Is like I'm not obligated to follow you guys and your endeavors, or even if you don't have any endeavors, because 9 times out of 10 that's the case. You're just posting, yeah, food and look at my outfit today. That of course you look good. I love
Yeah.
you, mom, but I don't really care for that, right now. So it's just like yeah, it's just like I said, it's just weird how people it's weird on how like they take on this virtual reality and get personal about that, but then in real life you don't even treat me with respect, or like you're not looking at like I'm here. Like you so caught up in mad about do I follow you, but it's like in real life you right here in my face. Like that what matters. Like that doesn't like this virtual world doesn't this is not for us to interact. Me that's real friends with people, like yeah, if my Instagram goes down tomorrow, I'm gonna still have King's number. I'm gonna still have all these people's number, and I mean that's because we have a real relationship. Like, yeah, that's it's crazy how people, yeah, like I said, it's a thing, man. And another thing too, I'll add on. It's always great to detox. I feel like at a certain point, like, and this have
Hmm.
to be like super long periods, but just kind of like get away from it, put it down, leave it alone, go outside, and just kind of really feel just the world and the life and appreciate that. Because I think also for me, when I've done it, it put things in perspective. Because even as an artist, I'm not gonna lie and say that me being Paris Flacco, I like Coors, and I'm making this different type of music that's not necessarily, what the radio is gonna hear. Is not the music I'm making is not panning towards, excuse me, on the top 100. So when I do see maybe someone like this is just an example, like shouts out Gunner. I'm not finna whatever, but I'm using him as an example right now. I see someone like a Gunner, and I'm seeing, just kind of all his success and what's going on. It sometimes can play mantras with you. It's like, man, dang, like, why I'm not there, this and that and the other case. But when I, detox, I'm working on myself and put things in perspective. Well, hey, I got my path going on. I got this going on. My time is my time. It's going to take my time. Things is going to go the way it's supposed to go for me. And that's how it's supposed to work out. I don't need to try to equivalate my life with where I'm at with this person, where he's at, because that's not how life works. But, when you're seeing images downloaded to your brain every single day, day in, day out, you kind of start to program your mind to feel that way. You start to match your life against theirs. And like I said, that can become a really unhealthy dark hole, bro. I've been there, and I've been able to make it out and manage it out. And now I feel like I use Instagram very healthy. I'm definitely not, first of all, like you said, I'm not seeing I'm not interested. I'm clicking not interested, so I'm not seeing artists and stuff like that of Gunna, honestly. And at this point, I understand what I'm doing, and I have a fan base for what I'm doing. I'm just looking at. I'm here to cater to them. That's why even if you go on Paris Flacco, people who follow me on Instagram, I don't follow anybody due to that same concept of I don't want to be influenced or see anything else outside of what I'm doing. I'm just here to cater that, and that's already kind of to me. I did that to establish a relationship between me and other people. Like if you follow me, you're here for the journey of what I'm doing, my creations, and what I'm making. This is not a social thing. This is not let me keep tabs on Paris and see what he's doing. Like that's not this is. You're here to buy music. You're here to support the music, support the art I put out through Instagram posts or whatever it so be. And that's just kind of what it is. If you don't respect that, I mean, I kind of feel like keep it moving, honestly, respectfully.
I 100% agree for
Hmm.
sure. And I just, yeah, it's worth pointing out that some people may think that's a kind of extreme
Extremists,
kind of
yeah, I
route
agree.
to take,
I
but
agree.
it's, yeah, you have to understand where your own kind of personal boundaries are, and it works for some people, doesn't work for others. But yeah, if you use social media or all these different channels in the right way, it can, like, as we've already talked about, it can open so many doors.
It can.
And somebody such as yourself, who's obviously quite a bit younger than me, you're more of a child of this kind of generation and this kind of
Yeah, most definitely.
technology that we have. What I would say is, like, you talked earlier about kind of being the kind of sort of slightly weird one, and having to kind of go into the background and utilize the internet and stuff to kind of make these connections and things, which obviously you're doing brilliantly.
Thank you.
There's also it's proven that it works. You look at similar people like I would say, obviously Pharrell and Chad were always weird kids that kind of focused on their thing, did their thing. They are where they are. Cuddy, for example,
Yeah.
I think Cuddy's one of those kind of weird people. I would say
Yeah,
air quotes.
and he's
A weird
someone
kid.
that comes from like a certain city and town where because is he from Cleveland? Like I mean, just
Cleveland, yeah.
there's not many people from that area, that did what he's done. So yeah, just kind of add on to your point.
Yeah, and then Tyler is the perfect example. He's around your age, a little bit older, I think, maybe approaching
He's
30-ish.
I feel like yeah, I mean he's quite older. I mean, couple yeah, he's quite older because he was someone like I said when I was in high school, he was that guy for me. It's like when I
Yeah.
listen to older people talk about, man, this the night man, it was Tribe, it was this, it was that. And it's like for me, if I had to name off my era, it would have to be the Tylers, the ASAPs, the like I said, the Chief Keefs, the stuff of that nature. That's like my era, but not necessarily what raised me.
But Tyler's again that kind of I say weird in air quotes kind of
He's in
kid.
that for
Um,
sure.
probably the sort of kid I would have hated at school. Seems very you know, it could be quite annoying. I think he probably was that kind of hyperactive type person that has to be the center of attention. But he's harnessed that and used that to kind of drive him
Oh yeah,
forward.
most
And
definitely.
and he knew back in the day how to kind of utilize social media to kind of expand his audience, how to use all these online platforms to get his music out there before they had deals and things with
Yeah,
Odd Future and everything. And like you say, look at him now. He's scoring fashion shows in
bro,
Paris for Nigo.
I'd be so
You
jealous.
know,
I'm not gonna even lie, bro. I love Tyler. Shouts out Tyler, but I'd be like, man, that should be me. Like, damn, dude.
one day,
But
man, one
no,
day,
it
one
is.
day.
It's just like once again, I'm super competitive. Like, I'm not gonna shy away from me saying that because I mean that with all respect and all goodness in my heart. It's just that yeah, like he's a person. Like I said, man, he's literally just checking off the boxes of all my dreams and things that I've once accomplished or things that I think about. Just even something that's interesting. He this last album that he did with DJ Drama. So on a small scale, what I was doing, I did a mixtape with DJ Nick from ASAP Mob. He works with ASAP and Marino Infantry, a New York based DJ that I linked up with. But I kind of wanted that DJ Drama Gangsta Grills kind of air thing on it. So I wanted him to scream. Like I literally booked him to come down to Austin, like scream on the mic, like talk super braggadocious, like just that feel of it, and this like hearing the things he was naming off on his influences, talking about like Young Jeezy and of course the Pharrell prequel mistape, and just I'm like man, I'm already doing it. Like that's crazy. Like just it's just stuff like that where it's like um one side, yeah, I'm jealous. I'm like, man, dang, like, shit, like how, I need to do that. But another side is like, hold up. He's showing me how to maneuver with this idea and take it further, and take it to where it can really be acknowledged and appreciated. And when you do something like that, you inspire people and you show people, something that they may have never seen, which is in the grand scheme of music and what we call art and just this culture. That's what you want. Like you want new people to know. You want people to get nerds about it just as much as we do. That may just find out Nicktoons today. You want them maybe over the years to somewhat acquire at least 50% of the knowledge through just their fandom and their appreciation of it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, man, it's really amazing that we do have the people like Tyler and things like that kind of have shown us this. Especially being like a Nicktoons fan. Like I think he's really like the one who showed you how to be a fan but not be like a carbon copy 2.0 for real. Like,
Yeah.
people, this could be debated about some of the music choices and some stuff he did, but I deem that he's someone that took the DNA, he took some of these blueprints, but he morphed it to his own. Maybe earlier in his music you could really see it, but I think that just comes with being young and being like an early artist and through time and experience you start to learn let me take this and it's like I feel like to be honestly this may be like a super debatable thing I'm finna say, but it's like I think he's taken certain things further that Neptunes hasn't done, in certain instances of how he's using that sound and the opportunity he's doing. And I think that's supposed to happen. At the end of the day, that's supposed to
Yep.
happen. He's younger. You've seen this great Pharrell do all this. It's only right that I look up and say, well, I can expand past that. I've seen this, but now we have this because you did this. Let me go another layer. So even going back to me and the Tyler thing, it's like I be feeling like that, but it's like who's to say Paris Flacco can do way more, things and take what his ideas farther. Like, okay, you scored the Grinch. I might could score Scorsese. Who's to say that that can't be the case? I mean, ideally, that's what the mindset you want to have, and that's what you want to reach for. And I would want the person who looks at the Paris Flacco to have that same mindset. Okay, Paris did this, but now I'm gonna go up another level because I studied you and I've seen the line of influence, but now I'm gonna add on to that. And I think that's what this music do, man. That's what this culture do, and that's what this is about for me. Nothing else, really, man.
Wholeheartedly agree.
For sure, man. I don't went off, bro. Stop.
No, that's good. This is great. This is what we want in the podcast. It's this is what people always say they love about the podcast. It's great that we chat about the music and the latest drops, but they want to hear people's thoughts and opinions and understand how they're working and what they can kind of aspire to be and all this kind of thing as well. So it's great to obviously have you on here and hear about your story, your journey so far, because it's quite clear that there's still a lot of this journey to go as well.
Most definitely.
So it's great for me, for David, for everyone listening to kind of be able to kind of in some way be involved in that and to be able to watch you and hopefully help support you as well. As the years kind of go by.
Like I said, to me, man, like I'm gonna do this one last time, and I'm gonna just stop. It's just like I said, I just have to elaborate one more time on how. First of all, I appreciate you for letting me be on here. It's an honor being able to be on a podcast. But it's more so an honor for you to say that and think that about me, man. It's crazy because, like I said, I was from the outside in. Like I said, in the early ages of me learning about the Pharrell and kind of gearing up my bag of knowledge to where if I was to ever approach a Stephen Penny or a King, I can say something intriguing to these people that would show that not only am I a fan of what y'all guys do and I'm watching, but I have something to add on to this space as well. So it's a trip to me because it's to me, you may not be rich or nothing like that, but I deem y'all like, it's like very influential people, and very, thought provoking people. And for me, I just want to be around that. So to the fact that, like I said, just in X amount of time, I've been able to get on here and have the opportunity to be on this platform to, like I said, work with King, not just one video. I mean, if y'all go down King's videos, man, I've been doing that for months at this point. Scoring his videos and having the opportunity to go to New York and like I said, rubbing elbows with Six Letter. Like we have songs that we're gonna eventually put out. It's just more so the marketing and like the planning and really waiting for when the time is right. Things of that nature that, like I said, like even him, like I remember putting in like who's the artist who talks about vapor who do this, and he's one of the first people who popped up. So I was looking like this is kind of competition, but in the sense of I need to get with this guy, because it's like I need to be able to maneuver in this space. But like I said, it's all love, man. It's like it's crazy, man. This is really dope, bro. So it's really a blessing to be on here. It's a blessing to be in this community. And like I said earlier, I really hope that people take the DNA of what's going on here and how we interacting with each other and apply it to different mediums of life, because I think that's really at the end of the day what needs to be taken away from all of this. It's not about the glorification of the music or the fashion aspect of things like that. You don't need to feel like you need to be these people to do that either. You don't feel like you need to be a musician or you need to be a collector and spend all this money and cash out, and live above your means. I think you just need to be able to encapsulate, just the basis and the fundamentals of what's going on here and like just the passion. And if you apply this passion that even I'm showcasing now to anything that you want to do, I guarantee you success. I guarantee you're gonna be successful. For sure, for sure.
Wise words. Wise words.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate the comments as well.
Most definitely, man.
let's wrap it up there. I think
Yeah,
we could probably talk for quite a bit longer.
we could.
But I think let's do this again at some point soon. It'd be
Man,
great to have you back on as well,
dude, it's
especially when you've been working on some more stuff. We'll be able to catch up and talk about that as well.
man,
That'd
it
be
would be
really
a
good.
great honor again, bro. I'm ready to do it, and I'm ready to go deeper into some of the history on some of these other Neptunes tracks, and maybe bring up another hidden gem, and maybe bring some other alarming news to people. So yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll leave that in your hands. Once you come up with that hidden gem, hit me up, and we'll do it.
Let's do it
We'll
for sure,
surprise some
man.
people. Good stuff. Cool. Everyone out there listening, a quick update for you. I was meant to mention this earlier and I completely forgot. All of the podcast episodes are now on YouTube. I just spent the whole weekend sat in my home office, turning them all into videos, putting them all up. So if you are a YouTube watcher, as I think both myself and Paris are,
Oh yeah.
you can jump on there and just watch them on YouTube now. Listen to them in the background on YouTube.
Which has been phenomenal for me to be a testament. I've been doing it the last 3-4 days, and it's great. Y'all definitely need to go listen to these podcasts. Like so much hidden gems. Like this guy has managed to talk to some amazing people that I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think I can find too much interviews on Spy Mob and their contributions. So this is really something like seriously, guys. Y'all need to listen to this podcast. Seriously, like go back and just binge it, man. It's great.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I must say the one and only episode that isn't up is the In Search of 20th anniversary episode, because I used the original In Search of intro in the track and it got copyright claimed straight away and taken down. But hopefully I've challenged that, so we'll be back online soon. But yes, if you're a YouTube watcher or listener, then head over there. I'll put a link in the show notes. You can find everything else to do with the podcast at theothers.net, including all of the links and whatnot. If you just want all the social links, go to linktree/others podcast. You can find me at Steve R. Penny on pretty much all of the platforms. Paris, where can everybody find you? Give us your information.
Yeah, man. Paris Flacko, everything. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Definitely follow me on TikTok. I'm going hard on that right now.
I'm going on there now. I don't really use TikTok. It's mainly like dog videos that I see on there. Like, shows you as an
Hey,
old man what
I'm
I'm
telling
looking
y'all
at
right now,
nowadays. But
everybody, TikTok is the future. If you are an artist or you're a creator and you're not on TikTok, you're heavily sleeping. You need to wake up and you need to get over your fears or your opinions about it. Figure out what you need to do. Take our advice on the filtering and get on there because it's really they're doing some great things and it's not going to go nowhere. So you might as well get with it or be behind. Honestly, but yeah, TikTok, Twitter. I am on Facebook as well. I'm really on all social medias. Also, Nights in the Dreams mixtape just dropped a couple like months ago. That's my mixtape. I produced everything on that. It's hosted by DJ Nick. Like I said, he's affiliate of ASAP Mob, ASAP Ant, Marino Infantry. That's on sale. You can only buy it digitally to 10.99. If you want the CD copies, hit me in the DMs. We can get that happening for you. And that's that for right now.
nice. We'll have all the links in the show notes to point all the people in the right direction for all those things. Great stuff. Great to chat to you, Paris. Definitely get you on again soon to chop it up some more, uncover some more hidden gems. But we'll wrap it up for there for now, I should say. And we'll speak to you all next time. Bye-bye.
Most definitely. Peace.